Welcome back, viewers, to East Manchester Experiment here in the North West Counties Leagues. We are going to play the League Cup semi-final today against Alsager Town. The plan was always to come back for us to win the league, and I thought it might have happened by now. As you can see, we've got plenty of wins in a row. We did manage to drop 2 points away at Atherton and Burnham Rovers last game, but St Helens Town have managed to keep pace with us well enough that we should still win the league, but we are far from guaranteed that yet. There is work to be done still. St Helens Town recently, their form has been matching ours almost step for step, and in fact you can see they've only dropped 5 points since the end of November, so that's pretty impressive form from them, and it means that this has taken us a little longer to win the league than I was expecting. We still should do. I would be very surprised if we don't win the league now, but it's just not been quite as easy as at one stage I thought it might have been. And I have to say, if you'd shown me that fixture list 2 months before this and said you haven't won the league yet, I wouldn't have believed you. We should still do it, but it is going to take a bit more time. So in this episode, we are going to have this game against Alsager Town in the North West Counties League Cup semi-final, and then I will be live coming the first game, during which, if we win, we will win the title. If necessary, I'll then do the next one as well, but I would have thought that will probably be enough. So this is the team we're going to go with today. We've got just a few fitness issues in the midfield. As you can see, people perhaps not being 100% fully fit, but I think given the poor form that James Barrigan is on, it's probably going to be the best option. Jack Leask would be the player here, but Jack Harrison is obviously a perfectly able deputy. I did think about giving Jack Gurney another game there, but I think Jack Harrison for the moment is the player I would rather see in that position. Wondering whether I can afford to switch them. Would that be a good idea? Makes very little difference. I'm going to go that way round, I think. So, I'm going to submit my team. And of course, we are 2 games away from the most lucrative the most lucrative trophy that we can win at the moment. In fact, by some distance, the most lucrative, which is why this is so important. From a purely footballing reason, I wouldn't really be bothered about the cups at this level, but the money is where the cups are where the money is, as far as but the cups are where the money is at this. But the cups are where the money is at this level of the game. So we're kicking off. Alsager Town, the opponents. How are they doing? They are first. They are the equivalent of us in the North West Counties League Division 1 South. In fact, they're quite a long way ahead as well. And when you think they're 7 points ahead, I think we are quite a few points less ahead than that. Division 1 North, yeah, we're only 6 ahead. So this might not be as easy as I thought, as it often is in these cup games. Feathers is through, and he's scored. Nice open to the score in the first highlights. We caught them on the break. It looked like it was going to be their chance to begin with, but Feathers caught them on the break. And off camera, they have equalised, unfortunately. You can see Karlak has got to a rebound after a good save originally from the keeper there. Real shame, but hopefully we can get another goal shortly so that we can get back in front. Here we have a corner. We take the lead again. McDonald comes out and claims it. That's a strange highlight. Is something odd going to happen now? Oh, I hope they're not going to get break on us. McDonald taking a while to release the ball. Brings it out to the wide, and it looks like a Bengo is there to clear up for us. Poor ball, but Joyce picks it up again, and Feathers is a chance for us. Feathers is in on goal. Can he square it? He shoots, and it's a save from McDonald. It's a shame because we had Brooke over there, and it would have been an easy chance if he just squared the ball to him. What a shame. Corner comes in. Harrison can't get the ball there, it's cleared. Noon to take a free kick over the wall and a great save from McFarlane. He's having a good game, even for the goal. It was a very good save. And he was just unlucky that it went straight to Karkak, or whatever his name is, from that save. Joyce has it in the centre of the park. Out wide to Wafula, who comes inside. Can't quite get the ball to Feathers. It's a strange highlight again. We're having quite a few of these where what actually happens doesn't quite seem to make sense with what starts off. That doesn't make any sense. Cut it. Swaby Nevin. Bengo, has he made a mistake here? Yes, he has, and Gon's in. And it's 2-1. This isn't good. This is not good at all. I thought this might be a difficult game, and it's proving to be so. 2-1 down at home to a team who, yes, they're top of their league, but they're still at our level. We need to get a goal. And unfortunately, that's half time. It's not looking particularly good at the moment. We are dominating possession, or at least better in possession. But we are losing this game, and I think we need to make something happen in that second half. Otherwise, we could be out of this, as I said before, the most important competition this season. And it really is proving quite difficult tonight. Hopefully, I can tell them that they have faith. I have faith in them, and they'll go out there and claim at least one goal before full time. Ball comes in from Gamble. Ibengo gets in there. Is that going to be a penalty? No, it looks like it's a free kick and Ibengo's going to be sent off. How stupid is that? You're pushing in the box and you get yourself sent off. I suppose if he was trying to get in for the header, you can kind of understand why he might want to do that. I mean, we can't completely shut up shop because we're 2-1 down in the cup, so it's going to have to be a midfielder. It's risky, but it's going to have to happen. I'm going to also put Wafula up a bit further forward, just so we can get it up there close up to Feathers up at the top. Time running out here. I'm going to go really attacking. Starting to think this is going to be pushing away from us, which would be a real shame. Grayson, oh, it's a dreadful clearance. Oh, that's awful, and Karkash is through again. Oh, this is really poor, and Karkash, well, he prevents it being a car crash at that moment, but we need a goal. This isn't going to happen, is it? There's not a huge amount more I can do now. We're very attacking already. I've got the most attacking team I can afford to have on the pitch. See if I can hump it long. And it's time running out for this season in the Cup. And this is a real blow for the finances. I'd almost sort of factored winning this competition in this season, I have to admit. It's going to make things very, very difficult going into next season. I imagine we will suffer some forced closures of facilities and so on. And yes, we're not paying our players much money, but things like the scouts and the assistant managers and that sort of thing, it's going to be quite difficult now, I fear. Ibengo, obviously banned. I'm not actually going to give him a warning because it's I think on reflection it was probably a case for him of just desperately trying to get the goal, and it was a goal we desperately needed, so I can't really blame him too much for that. Yeah. No action. Feathers done well, but needs more than just one goal that time. As you can probably tell, I'm a bit down after that. I have to admit that was not ideal. Hopefully, I'll be a little bit more chipper by the end of the video, because hopefully I will be celebrating a title win. I will be back with the first game, which could be our last game. Well, I will be back with the first game that could be a title-winning one. As it stands at the moment, we probably have to win every game between now and the last game of the season to be absolutely certain, unless we are beating St Helens Town in that round. We're not. So, as it stands at the moment, that wouldn't happen until the second last game of the season, which would be Hastings and St Mary's. I think in reality it's probably likely to be either back up or Longridge Town at home, and it's good that we may have a chance to win it at home, I would have thought. So I will be back for one of those games. If we don't win, then I will probably skip over to the next video so that we can have the title winning match alongside the end of season review. Sorry, and I'm back, but as you may notice from the dates, things haven't really gone according to plan. After such a good run of form, with all these wins, suddenly, with that League Cup semi-final defeat, we've heralded in a run of pretty awful form. So things are not particularly looking great at this club at the moment. And the offset to that is that I think a lot of these players will be gone at the end of this season. There's probably only maybe 5 or 6 people in this team who I would want around the club in the league above this one. I mean, obviously the other thing to say is that we can win the league today, which is why I'm here, because our form earlier in the season was so good that it was never really much in doubt. But it's certainly a little bit of a concern that we've gone on the run of form like that towards the end of the season. And obviously the League Cup semi-final defeat that you saw was kind of the low point. But to then have a run of 3 points from 4 games in the league is certainly far from ideal. However, we go into today's game against Longridge with knowing that 1 point probably wins us the title, realistically speaking, though it doesn't. Ignore that. So we go into the game today knowing that the right results elsewhere, plus a win today, would mean that we are champions. There are 3 games left as it stands. So a win today combined with a defeat or draw. Yes, I think a defeat or draw for St Helens Town would see us lift the title today. So this is the team we're going to go with. We've got Aspen Feathers on really good form, although weirdly, I don't think I've ever seen this before. For someone who's got 16 goals in 20 games, not a single assist. I'm not sure I've ever seen a striker get that many goals and not get a single assist. It's really strange, and I realise that's not what he's there for, but it's just it's a real oddity, I think. So here we go. Longridge Town, the opponents today. A game that we really ought to win. I think they were lower mid-table. I think I did check, and certainly we will be significant favourites for this game. So let's hope we can end this poor run of form. And here we go against Longridge Town. Let me just turn the speed down a little bit. You may have noticed sometimes I forget to do that, and I can't really keep up with commentary. I try and speak quicker, but that's never a good idea anyway, and I can't speak quick enough. So Treacher has the ball, and McFarlane makes a good save, and it's over the bar. Not a bad start. The corner comes in. Guy gets on the end, but it goes wide. I should just make sure that the right things are in the right places here. In terms of what we need, we've got the stats there twice, we don't need that. So we've got the league table up there, and obviously we've got the latest scores here too. St Helens Town, clearly the team to watch. Where are they? There they are, Waterloo Grammar School. And as I say, a win for us combined with anything other than a win for St Helens Town, and we will be champions. I think we have to win. Yes, we have to win for that to be relevant anyway. Ignore that, scratch that. And indeed, all we need to do today is scratch that as well. And indeed, all we need to do today is get 2 points closer, 2 points over St Helens Town. So as I say, scratch that as well. So today we are 5 points clear, which means that a win combined with anything other than a win for St Helens Town gives us the title. Bahalio picks up the ball in our half, gives it back to Grayson. Grayson dilly-dallying a little bit here. It's not really what I want to see at this level. Get the ball out. Yes, that's back. Better. And Bahalio can take the ball up. Slight error there, but he gets the ball back nonetheless. Leask through. And Feathers gets the ball into the middle. Feathers with a good chance. And 1-0 to East Manchester. We are doing our half of the bargain here. We're winning our game. So hopefully, if someone else can do us a favour, I can't remember who it was that we're relying on here. Who was it? Town. Waterloo Grammar School. If Waterloo's Grammar School can do us a favour here, then we are looking at back-to-back promotions. And Gurney, lovely ball from Leask to his partner in central midfield, and Gurney gets on the end of it. It's 5th goal of the season, and East Manchester 2, Longridge Town 0. Halio has the ball now. Just through into their half, gives the ball away to Guy. And is this going to be interesting? I can't see why the highlight has been given to me. Feathers picks up the ball back to Brooke, who slightly misses it, but can it go back? Get out left to Bahalio here. Bahalio, can he cross it in? Yes, he can. And Feathers gets on the end, and it's 3-0. It's going to be disallowed. The assistant has seen an offside there. It's a shame, but still 2-0 up. It's a good start. Is he offside? Yes, he's offside. Longridge Town with a throw in. Boyle, can he cross it in? No, that back to Haywood. He's going to shoot from there. I'd like him to. Yes, he is. And it's a good save. It's actually quite a decent shot. I should be a bit cautious of that actually, because the shots from long range at this level are much better than I feel they should be with players of this little quality. And Feathers gets on the end of it again. His 18th goal of the season, and another assist from Jack Leask. Our central midfielders have certainly improved this season. Obviously, last few games a bit less so, but combinations of particularly Leask and Gurney done really, really well here, and we are all over Longridge Town here. And Feathers on the end of another ball here from Grayson, and yes, it's 3-0. Is that a hat-trick for Feathers? I think it is. Yes, perfect hat-trick. One right foot, one left foot, and one header from Aspen Feathers, and a perfect hat-trick in the first half from Feathers. That might be, I can't think of that's been done all that many times. Has perfect hat-tricks in the first half. Fantastic stuff. And St Helens Town are still drawing, so as it stands, we are champions. I think there can be very little doubt now that we're going to win this game. The only question is whether St Helens Town can find a goal to take it to the next game. Brown has a ball, and it can't quite make it 5 in the first half. But this is a very, very comprehensive win here. And Carr has done it out of nowhere. Jack Leask again with another assist. Is that three assists now? I think it might be. Another assist from Leask. And Carr gets it for the 5th goal. What a win this is turning out to be. 5-0, it's not even half time yet. Perfect corner, right to him. Four assists from Leask. What a performance. Not sure I've seen 4 assists from one player before in this game. It's quite impressive. And in the first half as well. 4 assists in a half. So, second half begins, and it's not really about this game anymore. It's really all about what can happen to St Helens Town. Can they force a winner to take it into another game for us? As it stands now, we are champions. Bahailu has the ball on the wing. Can he get a decent cross in? Yes, he can. And Brown's on the end of it. Curtis with a good save there, but Brown puts it in anyway. Ben Brown, his 2nd goal of the season. It's 6-0. I wonder if we could get double figures here, because we are playing very, very well. As you may have noticed, I've switched to attacking because I want to score some goals. I quite enjoy this, and particularly if we're going to win the title today, it'd be nice to get it with a massive win. 6-0 is already pretty big. It looks like we are going to be down to 10 men here, however. Jack Leask, yes, red card for Jack Leask, which, given that he's got 4 assists, or is it 5 now? I'm not sure. I think it's 4 assists still. Yeah, 4 assists. 4 assists and a red card. I mean, I think that's still a very good day, isn't it? Let's face it. When we're 6-0 up in particular. I'm actually going to leave it as it is, just on the basis that we're playing so well anyway. Why bother changing it? You know, if we concede one, who cares? I would like to get some more goals. St Helens Town still 0-0. Are we about to celebrate a 2nd consecutive league title? Half an hour away from possibly making that a reality. Brook to Feathers, back to Brook. Feathers making a run. Can he find him? No, he's going out wide to Bahailu. Bahailu with the ball. 2 deflections there, but can't get it into the box. Bahailu again. Back to Gurney. And he's given the ball away simply there to Garvin. And can Longridge Town break? Melia to Guy. Guy through to Eaton. There's an easy ball out to the right here. Yes, he's found it. Treacher. 2 men in the centre, and Melia has made it 6-1. And we have conceded. I knew it was a possibility when I didn't make the defensive substitution that might do in other circumstances. But frankly, I was one of those where I always feel, I'd rather win 8-2 than 6-0. That's probably just the kind of manager I am. We're into the last 10 minutes now. St Helens Town still drawing, so as it stands, I'm about to see my players celebrate a league title. Another attack here from Longridge. McFarlane saves straight away. Can he release Feathers? Release Feathers! Release Feathers! Yes! And Feathers is through. Can he make it 7? He's going out wide. Not sure why he did that. Waiting for players to come support him. Bahailu. Decent cross. Comes to Brown. And it is 7-1. Fantastic goal in the end. I'm not sure why Feathers didn't go for goal earlier, but Ben Brown gets the goal nonetheless. And it's East Manchester 7, Longridge Town 1. What a lovely performance on the day that it looks like we are going to win the league. Brown, and Gale clears it to Woolley, and it looks like this is going to end with 7-1. It looks as well, the last time I saw it certainly, it was still 0-0 in the other game, which would mean that these players are now 70 seconds from being champions. Bahailu, can he make it 8? Over to Brook. Brook can find Brown, can he? Yes, he can, and Brown put the cross in. Yes, and Feathers. It's a penalty. Presumably Feathers fouled there. and we have the chance to make it 8-1, which would justify just about my decision to go very attacking, because it would mean that we would extend our lead by 1 compared to when I did that. It's not going to be feathers, oddly enough. It's going to be brown, which presumably is because he's on a hat trick. That will be why. And for once, luckily my game doesn't freeze at this point, which it often does. Ben Brown, can he make it 8 with what will be almost certainly the last kick of the game? Steps back, and he does indeed. 8-1. And are we champions is the next question. I think we probably are. It's the agonising wait. Decent penalty there from Brown. Full-time whistle is about to go here. Let me just see whether the full-time whistle will indeed bring, as I hope it will. It will. The league title is seconds away. 2 in a row this will be. And there it is. I am champions. Just check that's definitely the case. There wasn't a very, very last one. No, there isn't. And so East Manchester, with their 8-1 win, I think it presumably is the biggest win in our history. And we have become champions of North West Counties League Division 1 North. I'll check that in a minute. So congratulations to my team. The match engine obviously hasn't noticed that we've won the title, but we are very, very pleased with that. What a performance. East Manchester, second season in a row, we are league champions. Thrilled with this. I think this is the first time I've ever had a game with a lower league team where I've got 2 consecutive promotions for my first 2 seasons. Now it probably is because down here it is a bit easier, and I'm sure at some point this is going to get harder. I will not get promoted every season. It's just not going to happen. Those of you who have seen my saves on the SI forums before, you'll know I'm not the greatest manager in the world, but I'm certainly tearing it up down in the lower leagues in level 11 and level 10. So really, really pleased. East Manchester champions. Still hasn't noticed it. That's strange. Why is that happening? St Helens Town, but they were playing. Ah! Right, okay. The reason why it stayed 0-0 was because it was postponed. That is really frustrating. I felt so good there. I completely missed. Am I going completely mad? I could have sworn it had St Helens Town. I mean, I'll have to check back on the video, but I'm sure it had St Helens Town 0-0 on the bottom of that screen. It must have been postponed, surely. It's really strange. Which, I mean, what it means, of course, is that we will almost certainly now win the title. Oh, well, not almost certainly. There is a chance that we'll win the title whilst not playing, which would be very, very frustrating. It's very, very strange. I'm sorry, that's just really thrown me, viewers. I'm going to stick with this. I will come back either for the next game, because I did promise you I would do that. There it is. It's our biggest ever win, that 8-1 win. In fact, the biggest win for the North West Counties League Division 1 North, which is great, and record for goals in the match as well. Is it our biggest ever win? It is indeed our biggest ever win. Our biggest defeat was only 3-1 as well. So I will either come back for the moment when I will either come back from the moment when my league title is confirmed, or I will come back for the next game, depending obviously on the result, essentially. So I'm going to hold a team meeting just to give them some final encouragement for it all season. Go out there and make that final jump. I think that's a bit of pressure. Um, I respect those of you. Let's say it's a shame that it's gone like that, but oh well. Go and eat. Swings the ball in. Feathers. And it's a penalty. Oh, you know what's happened? This has happened a few. Oh no, it's I can't. It's the second year running. It's the second year running. This happened last year. I'm going to win the title, and I'm not going to be able to see the end. Can you believe this, gents? When will I ever see my team win a trophy? Will it ever happen? Please tell me if you know how to solve this. I hope it will be solved by the time that FM20 gets to a stage where I can play at this level, because it really is. It's rather dispiriting. You wait all year for the title, and then that happens. I can't believe it. And as you've seen before, it doesn't happen every penalty. I hate this game sometimes. Have we at least won the league? See, I'm tempted now to play that game again. I'm not going to, because more because I've done all the recording. To be honest, that's the main reason why I don't want to do it. Oh, it's awful. It's just awful. So as you can see, this time we have won the title. I won't be able to show you the moment when it happened, unfortunately, because it will just assume that it happened, and all the actual stuff will be gone as if it didn't happen. Oops. Yeah, I can't. Oh yeah, no, I can. So here is the moment where we became champions. McCann had the ball for Ashton Town. It goes back to Martin, presumably 10 seconds left. And here at this moment, obviously we're 5-0 up and all the players know that we've won the league, but the moment is coming where they all become champions officially. Bahalyu has the ball. If he's the last person to touch it, that would be nice. He is indeed. Bahalyu, one of the stars of the season for sure. And he touches the ball for the last time before we are crowned champions. Lovely. So I'll be back after the end of the season to play the last couple of games for a quick squad review. Sorry, this is going to be quite a long video. I would ideally have liked to have had another video for the League Cup final and a squad review, but obviously we didn't get there, so that can't happen. But I will be back at the end of the season. So here we are at the end of the season. As you can see, our best 11 is out. That's why I wanted to wait until this moment. Quite a lot of players from this season obviously inducted in, not entirely surprising when we've won a league at the first time of asking. We've now got obviously Waterhouse and Mills, the first two. Hopefully that won't stay that way for long, with both of them having left after one season, or in the case of Mills a bit less than one season. Pretty similar. I mean the average rating obviously for Waterhouse was significantly higher, but obviously in terms of the impact that they both had, it's been very, very similar. Ben Brown, 10 goals, I suppose, justifying his selection there. Conor Green didn't really play there, he was a striker, so it's a slightly strange selection. And obviously in this early period, this is sort of slightly odd, and it's pretty obvious to me that Bahalyu should be the player there. He's clearly been the better player. He's been played most of the games in that position, and he's been pretty good. Obviously, came in halfway through last season. Did really well, has done pretty well this season as well. I don't know whether he'll be any good in the higher league, but we will see, I suppose. So in the season awards, Aspen Feathers got the player of the season. Now I assume this means that Mills wasn't eligible on the basis that he's no longer at the club, which is fair enough. But I mean, he's clearly the best player this season. There's just no doubt. Feathers sign of the season, no problem with that particularly, unless again for the same reason you don't count Ben Mills. He's also therefore the young player of the season, absolutely fine. In terms of stats, 20 goals for Feathers, excellent stuff, really good average rating as well. Both Bahalyu and Leesk got 11 assists. Leesk got 4 in a game, remember, recently. 83% Dominic Reed, 83% pass completion, that's excellent. 5 player match awards for Leesk and Aspen's Feathers. Bahalyu not great in terms of yellow cards. Leesk can get only 2 reds each. But generally speaking, some really good performances this season. We've been lived up to our pre-season billing. We were favourites, which just seemed odd to me when we'd just been promoted. But hey, that's been done. Our average attendance only 89. Obviously, that's going to need to start rising soon. 40 players used. That is a lot. I suppose that is inevitable in the way. Just getting promoted in this level of the game, it's bound to be quite a lot, and that will presumably continue to be the case. The big disappointment for me is this bit, where we didn't manage to win our League Cup, which is a real shame. I presume we will get another go at that next year, when we will be among the best teams in that, in terms of standing in the pyramid. Match of the season, 5-0 against Ashton Town. What about the 8-1? Surely the 8-1 must have been better than that. I mean, I suppose Ashton Town were our title rivals. I suppose that's the difference. And it was away from home. So yeah, okay, fair enough. And that defeat against Steeton was the low point. End of season meeting, plans for next season. I want to be careful here because I don't want to put them off too much. But I do think I need to point out to them that I want to keep going up. I want to push on next season. The right additions to the squad. I think that's probably right. Yeah, back to back. Good, and I'm glad to see the players are really buying into that. That's exactly what I want. It's exactly the reaction I wanted to see. Okay, so the morale at the end of the season really good, and it's clear that the players think that we can go up again. We obviously will be replacing quite a few of them. I think I'm probably only going to be about 5 or 6 players I want to be kind of first team regulars next season. So hopefully this can continue to be a save where at least at these lower levels I keep going up every season. I'm sure that will stop at some point. Unlike some people, I'm not going to go up every single year. I don't think. I know some managers on YouTube manage to do that every single year. Um, I'm not going to manage that. I'm pretty sure of it. I mean, obviously I'm the manager of the season. I can't vote for myself though, of course. Um, I mean, Ashton Town were the main runners all through the season. It's got to be James Kelly. Of course it is. So 5 players named in the Player of the Season. I know that it doesn't say it. It's presumably just because someone hasn't put the award in the editor, which is fair enough at this level of the game. But 5 players in it are midfield and defence. I guess with the strikers, it's just a case of no one playing quite enough games in that season because of the fact that someone left halfway through it. So that would explain that element of it. So I'm looking at our squad for next season. Is that the end of the? Yes, it is. Looking at our squad for next season, if we just look at the best players in of the season, Aspen Feathers obviously has been the pick in terms of players we still have. He's 19. The mentals worry me a little. That's my problem with Aspen. Obviously, lovely finish. His pace is good, and that is good at these lower levels. But I do wonder whether we may find that he struggles a little bit because of his mentals when we start moving up through the leagues. But we will see how that goes. Ben Brown, who hasn't really been a big part of the team this season, but has ended up being, one of the better average ratings. He did have a good end to the season for sure. He will certainly be around. Whether he'll be good enough in the side, I'm not sure. Jack Leask, I would hope, will be one of the players who will be a stalwart. As I say, there's nothing here that's outstanding, but everything's pretty good. So he should be able to step up, I think. But Halil, I've had my doubts about all season, but he just kept doing it. So who knows? You never know. He may end up being a crucial member of the side. Owen Gamble, he's 21. He could continue. His 15 pace is obviously a really big thing here, and that's great. But I do wonder whether the step up might be too much for him. That might be about it. Sam Joyce is sort of the other obvious one. He made such a good start. He's fallen away a little bit, to be perfectly honest. So after that, we're thinking then about players like Grayson, who seems to have potential, but his low determination suggests he may not push on as much as I would like. Um, Ewan McFarlane, again, the low determination worries me a bit there. So that's one thing I do want to think about is the general character of my squad, because at the moment I'm getting through on pure talent, but I think we need to get players with some higher mentals, and I think one of the key things in terms of my recruitment over the summer is going to be focusing on players with very high mentals, people who are going to be up for the fight in the higher leagues. Look at someone like Aspen Feathers. Even though he did well, his low determination, there's nothing here that's even yellow as far as mental is concerned, and obviously that's adjusted for this low level as well. So it's really bad to see. I mean, Ben Brown, 12 leadership, but everything else here isn't great. Okay, and work rate as well. Um, so I need a bit more of a mental toughness in this side. I'm certainly going to need a few leaders. This was one player I brought in with sort of almost with that in mind, but I was thinking just about age. And actually, this guy turned out to be a better physical player than he was a mental one, really, and also didn't really do as well as I'd hoped. Um, but next season, obviously, is going to be a challenge. I'm going to look for some players. I've taken advice from other people. I've set up some shortlists of some local teams who have some players who are shortly to be out of contract. And some of these players might not so much Manchester United, Manchester City, I don't think, but maybe from some of the smaller teams, like maybe a Leeds, Sunderland, a Leicester, because those kinds of teams, I may be able to pick up some of their off costs. I've got no idea how good these players are, of course, and I'll have to take some of them on trial if they are willing to come with me, or possibly do a bit of scouting. Although that will be a problem for other reasons. In fact, I might as well talk about that now, because of course the finances are a big problem. It's leveled out a little bit, but I am concerned about finances, and obviously the cup win would have made a big difference there. I think it was about £40,000 it was worth, so we'd be in the black now. Um, but that didn't happen, and obviously the projection is for it to get a lot worse between now and this time next year. So there is work to do on the financial front, and there's not a huge amount I can do about it at the moment, other than just making sure I can win cups, because league positions don't really pay much at this point. Um, and next season presumably will be a bit more, but I don't know how much. Let me see if I can find out. So that means sorry, we rules. Next season, it's only 3,000. It's still not enough to make any significant difference, really. There is certainly problems to be had here, I feel. So I feel like there's quite a lot of work to do on this squad. As I say, even some of the there are 8 players who had an average rating of 7 or more there, and at least 4 of them I don't think are going to be up to it with a level above, and there may be more. So I'm looking for almost an entire team's worth, I think, of players who will be sort of a step beyond what we've already had. I have got a few sort of fairly promising youngsters down here in our in our youth team. Mike Evans was one of them. No, he wasn't. My assistants think so, but I don't see much there. There was one, Matthew Mason, I think it was. No, it wasn't him. It was a central midfielder. I remember that. Was it Alan Williams? No. Chris Wright. No. Oh, goodness me. The reason actually why I can't find him is because actually for some reason he wasn't signed automatically, so I had to approach him after he left, after his trial ended. So here he is. He's Lloyd Gordon. Um, he looks to me, I mean, combination of his high mentals, or particularly determination, which generally tends to suggest that he has a higher chance of hitting his potential, plus some decent technical, mental, and physical stats here, suggests to me that he may end up being quite a good player. He's certainly the pick of this year's intake. I know he's no longer at East Manchester, but as you can see, he did come out of our youth side. So he's certainly a player to watch for the future. But certainly I'm going to be looking for a very, very large number of players this summer. As you'll see from the transfers, I've continued my scattergun approach. I've signed a huge number of players. My part of my reason for doing that is just because I don't know how good they are sometimes, and it's just a case of getting the best ones I can. But the other reason is because of this. I keep losing these players. So if you look through this team, this screen here, there are, I think, at least 5 players, maybe more, in this screen who were first choice players either when at the start of the season or when they came in. Bailey Nichols was certainly at the start of the season. I thought he would be anyway. You then have Ben Mills, who obviously was my top striker at the time. Elliot Legg was promising. He probably wasn't the top player in his position at that time, but he was up there. And Jonathan Wafula, who was my star right winger, and he did really well for me, Wafula, the Kenyan player. 5 goals in 16 games, along with 6 assists, average rating 7.35, and then he just left. So that was really, really frustrating. And that's why I've been very much going with a scattergun approach here and getting as many players in as I can. And I will have to continue that, I feel, for another few years yet, until we're in a position where we can start giving contracts to players and making sure that we keep some control over when people leave. So I'll be back for the beginning of next season, hopefully with a few decent new players. But for now, that is the end, I think, of the 2019-20 season. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will be back
next season tomorrow.